So I really like cuboids, and so I thought that I'm going to make a 4x4x2 because I think that'll be an interesting solve. Maybe a bit harder than my 5x3, maybe a bit easier. Not too sure. Many of the 4x4x2s that I've seen have been like extremely pillowed, and as I've said 1,000 times before, I don't like pillowed puzzles. So I'm going to do what Tripoom does, and I'm going to build out these the side layers a bit before I pillow it, because then it'll reduce the pillowing a little bit, but it'll be a bit wider and fatter, but I'm okay with that. So I think the first step is just glue these layers together and then extend it, maybe? I don't know, I'm just kind of trying to think about it for a minute and then see what's best, but I'll film it so you'll be able to see. Alright, let's get to it. So I got partway through this process before I realized that I wasn't filming. So what I did was I wrapped masking tape around the top 2 layers and the bottom 2 layers, which are going to be glued together. And then just with a razor blade I cut through them so that I can take them off and have them in little blocks like this. And that's just so that I can easily grab one block, open it up, put some glue in there, close it up, and it's flush. Okay, so what I have here is I just have a business card. At the back of the business card, I'm just going to put a bunch of super glue in there, just a small puddle like that. Then I'm going to get one of the pieces that's like this, and I'm going to open it up, and just on this side in here, so I'm going to see where it connects. So it connects around there, just there. Okay, so the majority of that flat part is where it connects, and a little bit up here. So I'm going to get this incense stick. I'll get a different one because that one's just an incense stick. Get some super glue in there. Put it on that surface. Try not to put too much because I don't want it to seep out. That might hinder the turning a bit. Then I'm going to close it and I'm just going to put it down on a flat surface so that it levels out. And I'm going to put that up on my desk just to dry on a flat surface again. And I'm just going to continue doing that with all these pieces. Alright, so I've cleaned up the pieces after cutting them. Some of the caps that flew off I glued down. Now I'm just going to take the pieces off and fill them. I'm not going to fill them all of the way because I am going to pillow it a bit, so I don't want to have to waste putty. But I will fill all of these centerpieces and like halfway on these pieces. I'm not going to fill in these gaps yet because the putty I'm using now is like a quick setting up epoxy, so I don't want to use that for the sides. It just doesn't work well from what I've seen in the past. So I finished filling both sides of the puzzle. Took about 40 minutes, so that's not too bad. I might need to fill it a bit more in some of the corners and edges, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out when I go outside and start to sand it, which is what I need to do now. I'll get my Dremel, so I can just remove a lot of plastic at once and putty. Then I'll use sandpaper to get its final shape, make sure that no matter how I turn it, it always remains the same shape. If I need to, I can just put some putty on it outside and then wait 20 minutes for it to set. Once I've got the even shape, I'm going to bring it inside and completely disassemble it and then fill in like these gaps here, gaps on the inside of the pieces. And then tomorrow, once that's all set and dry, I will take it outside and using wet and dry sandpaper, sand everything so it's nice and smooth, get rid of any edges on the pieces, make sure the mechanism turns nicely, assemble it again, make sure it's all turning nicely still, then paint it, then sticker it, then done. So it was very dark outside, so I wasn't able to film this, but I've gotten pretty much the final shape of the cube done, as you can see. So now what I need to do is I need to disassemble it and fill in all the gaps in the pieces. Once I've done that, and once it is dry, which is probably going to be tomorrow, I will need to sand that all smooth and make sure that the puzzle turns well, and round off these corners and edges so that it looks nice, and then after that sand it, and then it's pretty much done. So I know I didn't show it on camera, but I finished painting the puzzle and I've actually stickered some of it. The puzzle quality, I'm extremely happy with it. It's kind of hard to see, sorry my light isn't set up correctly, but the pieces, they look very good. So as I said, I have started stickering the puzzle. I think I'm just going to show on camera now me doing one of the sides. Each side is taking around 40 minutes to an hour, and that's the big sides, which aren't too difficult. There's 8 pieces on it. These 2 sides are going to be quite difficult. I tried to start with these sides, but I got far too frustrated with them, and so I've decided that I'm just going to do these sides first, and then I'll do these either at a later date or when I can be bothered today. I think I will walk you through how I do my stickers. So I have a compass here with the pencil very close to the tip. Get a bit of masking tape. Cover the piece that I want to do, or that I want to trace. Cut it out like this. Try not to damage the piece. Take the outside off. Throw it in the bin or on the floor, depends where it goes. Get the compass, trace an outline. I've seen other people, they actually trace the corners, but I find it better just to do the lines, and then I just guess what the corners need to be. I try to make the lines quite bold because your fingers kind of rub it off a bit when you're peeling it off and stuff. So once you have that outline of the piece, I know you can't see it because my camera's horrible, you peel it off. I tend to use my razor just because it works a bit better. Get the... Sorry. Get the stick sheet, the vinyl. Cut it out of that. I don't have to be very precise right now. Then I cut the shape and just go over the line. Then I do the corners, and to do the corners I kind of do a very small curve, which never really works, and then I just curve on the little edges as well. And that gives me an okay kind of curve. This isn't my method. Like, it's not like I invented this. I saw it on Reddit. It was by a Reddit user named GeoManCam. So if you see this, thank you. Thank you very much. It works quite well, even though it is frustrating as hell. It's better than nothing. I experimented using plastic sheeting as like a template, but it didn't work as well as I liked, so I guess I won't be doing that. I've seen Tony Fisher, he has, what I did was I kind of like cut out bits of plastic sheeting, and so I was going to trace around it. I've seen that he has kind of like, so let's say he has a square sticker, he'll have a square cut out in the middle, put that on the vinyl and draw the inside and then cut that out. I would do that if I knew how. I think eventually I would be able to figure that out by like scanning a piece and then putting it on my computer and all that, but I don't have a scanner. I might have one at school, but I'm not at school right now. Okay, so once I've cut the piece, the mechanism is broken. Once I cut the piece, the sticker, I put the piece back in the puzzle, and then I put the sticker on. However, I'm going to have to fix this, so. Because I want to build up my n by n by n minus 2 puzzle collection, which will be my 3x3x1, 4x4x2, and 5x5x3, and I also want to make a 7x7x5, I'm going to have to make 6x6x4, which is not going to be enjoyable, because that is an even layered puzzle, and even layered puzzles are hell to deal with. I've only had to assemble this puzzle a handful of times, but I hate it. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to put this corner piece back in. Make sure I'm holding this the correct way. Yep. Then I remove the masking tape using a sharp edge. Just like that. Peel that off, get rid of that. Then I peel the sticker off, and then I place it. Oops. And there we go, we have an okay cut sticker. It doesn't look professionally made, but it's alright. Like if you look at a puzzle like this, all of these stickers are hand cut. And it looks pretty good from distance. Up close, like if you really observe it, it's not great, but you know, it's fine for what it is. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing that. And here is the completed 4x4x2. I actually completed this a few days ago, and I've been putting off filming this part. But yeah, here it is. The stickering job isn't that great, and not all of the pieces are very good, but I am extremely happy with this puzzle, and I enjoy solving it quite a lot. The solve is very similar to the 5x5x3, it's just a little bit easier, and there's not as many steps involved. Turning on this puzzle is very, very good. I have no complaints with the turning. All the layers are great, the stickers, even though if you look up close they're not that good, they're still great. I like the shades. And yeah, it's just a really fun puzzle. I will definitely make another one in the future, because some of these pieces aren't that great, and there are a couple of small issues with them, but other than that, yeah. Good puzzle, happy with it. Definitely want to add to the collection.